So today on episode 2 of the Australian Colonial Cedar chest of drawers, we're going to be repairing the drawers and the runners as well. Got some nice big facet head nails in the back there. The dovetails are very tight but very crude, and they're going to be tricky to get these drawers apart. And you can see how much wear the drawer has had over the past 150 years. This drawer has been in and out many times. So we're going to have to knock these drawers apart, and we're going to repair them with some old timber. Now I've just got a 1mm drill bit, and I'm just making some holes into the dovetail joint, and I'm going to pour some boiling water into that joint and just leave it for a while. Same with the back. By drilling the holes, it just gives access to the hot water into the joint so we can melt that glue. And we'll just scrape the paint out as well. And we're just going to keep putting boiling water into the joints. Now it can take a while, sometimes around about an hour, for all the glue to dissolve enough so we can get the drawers apart. And they're still pretty tight, so we'll just keep putting more boiling water in. Now the back of the drawer, we're just going to drill some holes in here as well, so the boiling water can get access to the glue. Now the tail is broken on this side as well. There is a couple of tails on the back that are broken, but we'll just glue them back in place. Now I love the utility blades. I use them so many times just to help widen that crack so we can get more boiling water in there. Just got to keep persevering with the hot water. We'll just give her a little bit of a tap. And she's popped out. Now we've got the back of the drawer off, we can just wiggle the sides back and forward, and that just gives us a little bit more room at the bottom so we can get some more hot water in the bottom there. Just lightly tapping, just so we can keep opening that crack up. And that's one side off, and the drawer bottom off, and we've just got the other side, and that's the first drawer in pieces. Again, you just wobble them back and forward just to loosen that joint, and we just keep putting boiling water in there. I do like these old brass locks as well. So often these are missing in these old chests. Now we're just going to put some boiling water into the joint, and then we'll clean all that glue up with a toothbrush. Just dissolve the rest of the old glue. And we'll do this with all the joints on all the drawers that we are repairing. Nice clean joint will give us a nice tight joint. And we'll just dry the joint out. And we've got all that glue out now. Now they can be quite stubborn, trying to get the drawers apart. But once we get all that glue melted, they usually tap apart. It's still a bit caught at this end. So we'll just pop a few more drill holes in there so we can get the water into the dovetail. And now it's tapping apart. Again, always clean the joints out. They're really sticky to touch with all the old glue. Now this one just came apart quite easily. The glue had dried up. We're getting a bit lucky with this one. Again, just rocking it back and forward, just enough to loosen that joint. Now somebody's put a nail in the bottom here, and they've whacked it from underneath straight through the pine into the drawer. Just tap it out. And then the next drawer. And just tapping back and forward, just get all that water into the dovetails. Now they have glued the bottom of the drawer into the dado here, so we're just going to have to get plenty of boiling water into that joint there. So we'll just scribe that paint out and then see if we can get the boiling water in there. And the last side. So we've got all the drawers apart now, or the long drawers. The hat and the glove drawers are pretty good. We won't really need to do too much to those ones. But you can see how much wear there is there. And we have got some old hoop pine, parts of old drawers that we're going to use so that the timber will match. Now I'm just gently going to use my jointer just to get a nice flat surface so we can glue the repair wood to. And just gently as we go. We don't want to lose the dovetail. And the same with the rest of the drawers. Just get them nice and flat. Now we're going to cut our skis that we're going to glue onto the bottom of the drawers. And this is 100-year-old hoop pine that we're using, which is the same timber the sides of the drawers are made of. And we'll just cut those in half, and that'll give us 6 skis that we can glue onto the bottom. Now we will glue these on in place, and we will square the drawers up after we've glued the skis on. Now I use a syringe to apply my glue. I'm just using a white PVA glue here, which is strong, and it'll be ideal for gluing these drawer repairs on the bottom. So we just clamp them in place. Now we don't want to over tighten the clamps. We don't want to push all the glue out. We just want to just tighten them enough just so that it stays in place. So the 3 long drawers are the drawers that we are repairing. They've had a lot of use. And there we have all our drawers in the clamps, and we'll leave that overnight to dry. Now it's the next day, and you can see the timber is a very, very good match. Now we're just going to sand the sides of the drawers. They've got bits of paint. They're just not very tidy. We just want to clean them up a bit. And while we've got them apart, we can sand the inside of the drawers as well, which were painted, which you can see in the previous video, how we stripped the chest of drawers. Now we're just going to mark the bottom of the drawer, and we're just going to square the drawer up now, the side of the drawer. And that's one side done. Again, with this one we'll have to cut the tail out. And we're just squaring all the drawers up now. Sitting nice and flat now, but we always give them a bit of a dummy run just to make sure that everything is going to fit okay. But the runners are worn, so we will have to do those as well, because the drawers do rock a bit and they lean forward as well, a little bit as well. So we will have to do the runners as well. And people often used to say to me, can you just do a quick job on the drawer runners? And there is no quick way really to repair them properly. Again, we just want to make sure that everything is going to fit. Now while we've got the drawers apart, we will take out the brass locks and we'll clean them out. And we'll give the back of the drawer, the Cedar, a bit of a sand. And that's all paint that's in the grain. So you never really want to buy a Cedar chest of drawers that has been painted white and they have sanded the item before they've painted it, because trying to get paint out of Cedar is very hard. Now I'm just going to mix up some pearl glue or animal hide glue to glue the joints of the drawers. We're just going to mix an equal amount of water and just slowly bring that to the boil over a period of about half an hour. Temperature today is 31 degrees or 30 degrees, so it's quite hot to be working, but it's a good temperature for gluing because we don't have a very big window to use hide glue. We only have about a minute. Now we set the glue at about 60 to 65 degrees centigrade. We find that's a good temperature for the glue to work, and we've got about a minute to get all these drawers together before the glue starts to go off. So it's a bit of a rush. You have to get everything all set up so that you're all ready to go and go as quick as possible. And the backs of the drawers, and then we'll get our clamps on nice and quick. Just make sure that we do pull in the dovetails nice and tight. Now we are using hide glue on the joints, so the next person who restores these drawers will be able to get them apart like we did. Hide glue is quite good because it is reversible, but it can be a pain as well, because you just don't have that window, that time to get everything glued, whereas with white glue or yellow glue you just have a little bit longer. But this is the way they did it in the olden days, so we'll just carry on that tradition. with not having a lot of time to get these drawers clamped, it's pretty hard to film as well. Again, you don't want to boil the glue, you just want it around about 60 to 65 degrees centigrade. That's the perfect temperature. And if you are doing this in a cold climate, just heat the joint up with a heat gun. And the glue is getting a little bit thick now as we're getting to the end of this batch, but it'll still be okay. We'll clamp in both ends nice and tight, and then we'll get another clamp for the front of the drawer. Now we have taken a clamp off one of the other drawers because it's been over an hour now, so that should be fine. And then we'll just pull in the back of the drawer as well. Pull them in nice and tight. So we've got all the drawers clamped, and we will leave them for 24 hours. And we'll be back again. Now the inside of the drawer runners, we've had a little bit of termite damage here. Now termites don't normally go for cedar, but they do like the sapwood, and they've used some scraps of wood here, and some of them have got the sapwood on there, and the termites have decided to have a little bit of a nibble. Now we always mark the position where the drawer runners are. These chests are never square. They can be quite a pain. So we're just going to go off the markings of the original cabinet maker, and we'll just put our new pieces of cedar in the same spot. Now these are glued in as well, so we're going to use some hot water again on the joint just to melt that glue, make it a bit easier to get them out. But we're probably going to have to cut them anyway because they are nailed in from the back as well. But we don't want to rip the wood by just bashing them with a hammer. We don't want to do any damage. And yeah, you can see the sapwood there, and then it gets a little bit better at the bottom where there is no sapwood. Now sapwood is the wood that is closest to the bark. So she's had a good little nibble. Now we will replace these with old cedar as well. Again, they are just nailed in from the back as well, and they're also nailed into the stretcher at the front. Now we will keep the old nails and we will repurpose them back into the chest. You can see them there, and the other ones are on the angle, so they put these drawer runners in before they put the backboards on. And there's the wear. They've been opened many, many, many times. Cleaning out the side of the chest, and we'll get the rest of these nails out, and we're going to have to straighten those up as well so we can reuse them. And they're the ones that are in the front stretcher. They're on an awkward angle and they can be quite tricky to nail in place. There they are, the clout nails, facet head nails. Now the other side, the glue is dried up, so we're going to be a little bit easier to get these ones out, but we'll still have to cut the runner in half. And the last one. Now we have some old cedar here that we're going to use to make the new runners, and we're going to use the old nails as well, put them back into the chest. So we're just going to cut our new runners out. Now this is 150-year-old cedar that we're using. And we'll just get the thickness that we want. And now we're going to tack them in place. Now we're just going to flatten all the nails out, get them nice and straight. Definitely recycling, that's for sure. And there we have them now, all nice and straight. Now we're just going to put the runner in the vise there. It's a lot easier to put the nail in first because it is an awkward angle that we have to try and tap the nail into the stretcher. And then we're just going to use the old nails at the back to nail them in again at the back, how they were originally. And then just tap the old nail into the stretchers at the front. Just the way it was, with new wood. Well, old wood, but a new repair. Now we're going to repurpose the cedar guides as well. And we're going to put new drawer stoppers on, which were also cedar. So we'll make some cedar ones. Just going to get the nails out. And the bottoms of the drawers over the years I've just rubbed these flat, especially with them being worn. I'm not really sure what this is. I think it could be masonite. It's a bit furry looking. The same again, they put some sort of masonite on the front there, no idea why. and then the actual stopper, which is the original one. We'll just clean that up so we can glue the new ones in place. Now we'll just square them up to the front stretcher, put them in place, and we'll just tack them in place. Wipe off the excess glue, and we have the drawer runners repaired. Now we'll do the drawer stoppers, and we'll put our panel pins in before we put them in place, and then we just measure the width of the drawer and put the stoppers in place there so they just sit in the right, stop at the right angle. So that's just about it now for the drawer repairs. We're glad we've got that one out of the way, and they slide in and out beautiful now. So the next video we're going to be repairing the cross banding, so stay tuned for that one. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next video.